Similar to the team.
I am present. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the North Shore 9 Postgame Show, sponsored by Primanti Brothers. I'm Neil. With me is Doug. Pirates lose 11-5. Doug, how are we doing tonight?
Oh, we're struggling. We're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off the high of our weekend with meeting all the people at the tailgate, the great time that we had. I feel like I wish I was still driving. I drove for 11 hours, but that was better than watching this game. But Hayden, look who I got with me. So we got Hayden here.
Hayden in chat. Oh man. Well, Hayden did not come to the tailgate, but thank you to everyone who did. Tailgate was a whole lot of fun. Great to meet a lot of y'all. No, it was a great weekend. Even though the Pirates didn't win a whole lot, I had a whole lot of fun. Great meet all y'all. Got to meet Doug for the first time. So, a lot more fun than tonight's game.
Yeah, I got to meet Neil's entire family. I mean, his mother and his father, I think it was 2 brothers, a sister, a brother-in-law, an aunt, a third cousin twice removed on your uncle's side or something. I mean, it was Neil's whole family out there, and they were all so nice. It was just great. We met a lot of, it was, Ricky, Amanda, Harley, Ethan Houlihan, Josh from Bridge to October and his wife, Yark. It was great. I don't want to leave anybody out. Next year, you have to either wear a name tag or you have to introduce yourself when you come, because we only know screen names.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, a lot of people. I'm like, which one?
It was so cool meeting so many different people, like also getting to see people that you've met before. So if you're able to, just come next year. It was a lot of fun, and we really took over the gold lot. But unfortunately, we have to talk about not fun things.
I'm trying to avoid it, but we are contractually obligated to discuss this game.
We are technically a Pirates podcast, which means we have to talk about the Pirates. And so Pirates lose the series opener here in Cincinnati, 11-5 to the Cincinnati Reds. And I mean, it was just a bad pitching night all around. I guess that's where we should start. But giving up 11 runs over the course of 3 innings is hard to watch.
It was a team effort, right?
Yeah. I guess we'll start with Bailey Falter. Falter starts the game off with 3 perfect innings. He was getting that weak contact he want on his fastball. Wasn't getting strikeouts, but like 3 and the 3 perfect innings, and in the 4th inning, he gets destroyed. 5 earned in that 4th inning. What did you think of Bailey Falter, Doug?
Well, to me, it's sort of like Holderman's performance yesterday. Like, I'm not going to hold it against him. Holderman's been fantastic. He can't pitch perk every time. Brady Falter has been terrific for us. He's outpitched every single person in this chat and every Pirate fan's expectations, because we didn't even want him on the team, right? We didn't even want him as a 5th starter. We didn't want him in the bullpen. And he's been terrific. But yeah, he struggled today, and then that leads us to one of the core problems of this team. We have no relief for a starter having a bad outing. We have no answer. If a starter goes out early, if a starter gets roughed up a little in the 3rd or 4th inning, the game is over. It's over because we're going to bring in, a Santana or a Brule or I can't even remember. Dalton Jeffries, just guys that should not be on major league rosters. And certainly 3 and 4 of them should not be on major league rosters. Like, okay, maybe you have one guy and, you bring in, for these kind of, you don't even want to bring them in this situation. You bring them in when we're down 11-5. You don't bring them in there to get us to 11-5, So
yeah, I mean,
so I'm not that upset with Falter. He had a bad inning, and sadly, if we have a starting pitcher that has a bad inning, there's no recovery.
I was surprised that he was pulled after that 4th inning. Obviously he got roughed up, but he was only at 79 pitches. I thought he was gonna go out at least for a 5th inning, just with the state of this bullpen.
Well, and he's done that before, where he has that bad inning, and then goes and pitches 2 or 3 more, good innings. He's a couple starts. I mean, his first start of the year, he gives up 5 in the first, and then pitched, I think, 4 or 5 more innings without giving up any more damage. And we came back and won that game. He's done that a couple of times. So given the state of our bullpen, I thought he might get back there for another inning too. I know it's hot. I know he didn't look great, but he was probably better than the options that we brought out after him.
Yeah, I mean, I get the move. Like, I understand why they took him out, because you want to try to keep this. You want to try to keep this close as possible. And Bailey Falter's getting kind of rocked, so I get the rationale. But I mean, with the options in the bullpen, there is no one you can really turn to.
You knew. I mean, I knew the game was over when they brought in. I harbored no hope.
But it's not fair to Bailey Falter to be mad at him. I just think it goes to show how fickle a Bailey Falter start can be, because if he's not completely pinpoint with his location at all times, when you have stuff like Paul Skeens and Jared Jones, you can make mistakes and get away with it.
Right.
Bailey Falter can't make mistakes.
Nope.
Bailey Falter can't make mistakes, because you get that anywhere the Reds just tee him up for 5 runs. And back end starter, 4 ERA. Bailey Falter has been fine, and I think I said this in my last post game. Starters should be allowed to have off days,
right?
But this team does not allow for it. You cannot have an off day as a starter.
You can't have an off inning. You can't have an off inning as a starter out of this team. I mean, between the lack of scoring from the offense, the poor fundamentals defensively, how we'll run ourselves out of an inning, and then that middle relief, there's just and with the thing with Bailey Falter, it seems like he's either spectacular, he's 7 innings with 1 run, or he has that bad inning and it's a 5-run inning. He does not have I'll just give up 3 runs in 5 innings type outing. It's he gets rocked. So and again, with this team, there is no margin for error.
Yeah. But so Bailey Falter, not a great start, but again, offense has to pick up. Sometimes the offense has to pick the pitching up. Sometimes the bullpen has to. But this is where the game is lost. And I think we were talking a little bit before the show, and we said this is a Ben Sherrington loss.
Yes, because
this bullpen is so bad, and I get it. Losing Moretta, Barucki, and Bednar are hard shoes to fill.
Yeah,
like that's not easy. Like you've lost 3 effective arms right now, and I don't want to take away from that, but we are in year 5 of this rebuild.
Yeah,
and this is our bullpen: Aroldis Chapman, Colin Holderman, Carmen Majinski, Kyle Nicholas, Dennis Santana, Justin Bruhel, Dalton Jeffries, Joshua Fleming, and Luis Ortiz. That is an atrocious bullpen.
Right. And I know part of it too, I think, is that during this whole entire, 40 years, of losing or what have you. We've always had good bullpens, right? All those years when we only have one guy making all-star, it's usually our closer. We've always, we've had good closers, Matt Capps and Joel Hannahan, and on and on and on. Mike Williams, even it's we've had good because it's the cheapest, easiest thing to build. Every team can afford a good bullpen. You can find, every year teams create closers and they create setup men. And but one of the many things that Ben Cherington has not been able to do is put together a complete bullpen in any season yet. And it looked like this year, he was kind of putting the effort in. And yeah, he got some bad luck. That happens. But man, I mean, because as Jim says a lot, we don't have anybody at AAA.
No.
And a separate thing, we don't have any hitters coming. Like I said, it's year 5 of a rebuild, and we have no help coming.
Yeah, and if you're looking for solutions, I don't want him to permanently there, but you got Braxton Ashcraft. He's surpassed his inning total from I think he's already at his career high inning total. He's already kind of carving up AAA. If you're looking to save the season, you might want to start thinking about calling up Braxton Ashcraft to be a reliever, because it sucks, but the Pirates have to have a good bullpen. You're right. We've already had a good bullpen, but when we think about the good years, the Neil Huntington years, the game was over when you hit the 7th inning and the Pirates had the lead. Yeah. Like through 13 through 15, I remember seeing all those stats where like the Pirates would be like 37-2 after leading after the 7th inning, because we had those lockdown guys.
Right.
This team does not have it, and this team has not had it ever.
No, and it's exactly as soon as the closer would get too expensive, we'd move Grilly on, and then we'd push up Melanson, we'd move up Tony Watson the spot, we'd move up Jared Hughes' spot. But there was always somebody. We had them. We had relievers. We were cultivating them and creating them, finding them off the scrap heap, and getting them in trades and what have you. And Cherington, for all the people he's cycled in and out, has not been able to get very effective relievers.
No.
He's had some successes, Barucki, Moretta, but
well, that's a frustrating thing too, is that like last year he found success in finding Barucki and finding Moretta and even finding Perdomo before he went down. And this year he has no hits. It's regress. And I think we saw it tonight. The 3-headed monster of Frihul, Santana, and Jeffries is like that dragon meme, but all 3 of the dragons are like the goofy looking one. Like it's not good. And
I had to look up the word relief today because I was like, maybe I don't know what it means, right? But no, I do know what relief means, and we don't have it, right? So.
Yeah, and Nola Jeffrey on Twitter was pretty good. He said, like, in an ideal world, you use one of these guys per game. Right. If you're in a situation where you have to use all 3, something's wrong with the roster, right?
Well, like I said, to me, in an ideal world, only, really none of them are on team, but maybe you have one that you just pitch in these all, whatever. He shouldn't have come in the 5th inning, right? The game was still within reach. Then he should be pitching in the 9th inning when we're down 11-3 or 11-5. Should not be pitching in a situation where we're expecting him to not give up runs and keep the game close. But every one of them gave up runs, right?
Yeah, and to be fair to Denny Santana, he just got hit by a pitch, leaves the game. I actually don't think he was awful in the time that he was on the mound, but
he wasn't awful.
Why is Dalton Jeffries on this team? Yeah. What does Dalton Jeffries provide?
Cherington does like to get some of these type of relievers and just wear them out. And like I said, there's so many innings you have to fill, and he always has. It seems like he has like just a pack mule or something. He just wants to get everything he can of, and then when he dies, he just gets another one. It was Dwayne Underwood Jr. It's some guy that you just seem to. How is this guy in the team? Yet he's pitching every other day, 2 innings here, an inning there. So, but again, now he's got half the bullpen are those kind of guys. So.
Yeah, and like we said, like you can't deny that injuries have a role on this team struggling with the bullpen. But if you have to go to a game where like Chapman or Holderman aren't really available, or it's too early to bring them in, you had 3 guys over 3 innings give up 7 runs, and just completely put this game out of reach.
Not a recipe for success, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah, like, you know what, like, yeah, maybe Shelton, and I'll even say is Shelton should have let Bailey Falter go out for a 5th inning. You know what? Fine. I'll give you that. But who do you go to in the 6th? Who do you go to in the 7th? Like, the problem is that this team has some talented pieces, but the overall construction's a mess.
Well, and it's, you're coming into this ballpark with that bullpen. Right there is you're asking for trouble, right? I mean, because again, this is the kind of ballpark that Bailey Falter is a fly ball pitcher. That's not a good thing to be at Great American Small Park. So it just seems. I mean, I know you can't make moves every week based on the ballpark, but I mean, again, I don't know. I just. Sherrington has to do better. Okay, we're not asking you to get Juan Soto here. Just get us a somewhat functional bullpen, which, like you said, you might have a guy, part of the solution down there in Ashcraft. There might be some of those other young guys that you could just bring in that, are getting close to innings, using their innings for the year, that sort of thing. How much longer are you going to leave Ashcraft down there? Right.
Yeah, I mean, Ryder Ryan's in AAA. And I'm not even like, Ryder Ryan's amazing, but
he has to be better than each of those guys. Right. He came up here and pitched better than each of those guys have. So.
So and so like that's the real takeaway is that when you're throwing out Dalton Jeffries and he's throwing 90 miles an hour down the middle to Ellie De La Cruz, bad things are going to happen. And this team was killed by Jonathan India, Ellie De La Cruz, and Spencer Steer mostly today. Right. It combined 8 hits from those 3 players, and Ellie took Jeffries deep to really put the dagger in the game. Part of a 4-run 6th inning, and by that
scored a few runs to kind of close the gap and start thinking, well, maybe.
But the bullpen puts it out of reach. 11-3. It's another bullpen blow up. And the offense put up more runs today. There was a little bit of hope. You get 2 back in the 5th. So we'll switch to the Pirates offense. The Pirates score 5 today. You think, we score.
Typically, when we score 4, we win. Right.
Yeah, but not today. It's 5-3 going into the bottom of the 5th, and then the Reds blow the game open. But Brian Reynolds, 21-game hit streak. He's still seeing the ball real well. I think at the end of May, his OPS was around 740. It's now at 813.
Right. Yeah, he was kind of an average player there, and not anymore. I don't want June to end.
No. And O'Neal Cruz, 2 for 5 as well. 1 home run. O'Neal Cruz has 3 RBIs today.
Yeah. Longest home run hit at Great America this year, I think they said.
Yeah. I mean, he loves hitting in Cincinnati. He out hit Ellie for longest home run. What do you think of O'Neal Cruz? Because on one hand, I was pretty happy to home run. He also drove in a run, but I don't think I've ever been more annoyed at a RBI ground out of my life.
Oh,
where
he lets the pitch down the middle go. Right. Yeah. He just lets that pitch go, and then he swings at something at eye level. And for a lot of people would be, hitting into a double play. His great speed made him, he beat it comfortably, and the run comes in. But yeah, you're right. That was like, if you just, why didn't you swing at the one before? How in the world did you swing at that one?
Yeah.
And I mean, but at that point you're thinking, well, I got to run and just chip away. That's all we have to do. This is the Great America Ballpark. It runs here are easier to score, and we can get back in this thing. But yeah, that was like, come on. What page of the Andy Haynes playbook was that on?
Yeah, I mean, and like I don't want to turn into an Andy Haynes show, but man,
no, I mean that's not on. That was not on Andy. I was just
I mean, no, but I was happy with Cruz today. I think Cruz is a streaky player, but like he's getting there. Another home run. Edward Olivares, 3 hits today, 3 for 3 with a walk. I don't think he had a single impressive hit, but it's a start.
Right. That's the old adage, right? Just a little blooper can get you out of a funk and get you going. So hopefully there are good things to come from this. It'd be nice if, again, somebody else could start adding to the offensive, contribute offensively. We're just asking too much out of those top 3 guys.
Yeah, I mean, in the top 3 were the big Harriers, 5 hits combined. 4 of the 5 RBIs are from Kutch, Reynolds, and Cruz. And then you just kind of have this giant hole 4 through 6.
49.
Rowdy Tellez kind of breaks it up, but Rowdy Tellez 0 for 4, Nick Gonzalez 0 for 5, Cabrian Hayes 0 for 4. Cabrian Hayes' OPS is now sub 600. We are in official danger territory with Cabrian Hayes.
Yeah. Right. We're right back to where we've always been with him. If he could just be a league, average hitter. He teased us last year for 2.5 months or so, and we all bought in, and we've had this conversation again and again and again, and so often the question is Hayes back? Well, right now, no, not even close to back, or maybe he is back to what he's always been. But no, he's worse than what he's normally been at this point. So
yeah, it really sucks because like I feel like over the last couple weeks, especially, like he's had a lot of actually well hit balls hit into the gaps that just hang up just a little bit too long. But no, he doesn't look comfortable at the plate. His launch angle is way down. He's killing a lot of earthworms. Like it's not good for Cabrian Hayes. Nick Gonzalez, I think, is 1 for his last 21. Maybe 1 for his last 22. You're not going to win games when the middle of your lineup does that.
Right. I mean, that's it. You 3 guys cannot lead, an offense. You need something from these, again, I mean, especially from 4, 5, 6, but we're just getting nothing. And that gets us right back to like the early days of the Charrington, where it's like, all right, again, we've always had Brian Reynolds at the number 2 spot, and we've maybe got something from a leadoff hitter or a 3 hitter or something like that. But man, 5 through 9, I used to joke when Stephen Brault pitched, he should have batted 5th. And because we've just got nothing. I'm beginning to think that Ben Charrington's not a very good general manager.
No, he's not.
Because it's like, okay, we don't have any relief pitchers, and we don't have any offensive players, and and we don't have any guys in the minor leagues coming to bail us out. So what do we have exactly? I mean, other than a few, 3 outstanding, unbelievable starting pitchers that we're just wasting.
Yeah. I think the last thing I kind of want to touch on before we start wrapping this up is I am exhausted. I mean, Edward Olivares is not a good defender. We knew that. When he throws it 35 feet up the line, when he had the runner dead for rights, that's bad. But I am exhausted of having to watch Yasmani Grandal play so often for this team. I cannot stand this guy. He's already done interviews about how he's basically playing baseball just to get a paycheck. He's just winding down to retirement. Tim Anderson got into a fight with him because he wanted to leave the White Sox early to go on vacation. He is so checked out.
Yeah.
He does not care. He has zero respect for the uniform, for the fans, for the city, for the team. He is making $2 million. He is making $2 million to be phoned in, not care at all about the team, and he can't even make basic defensive plays. He drops another beautiful relay throw by Cruz where you need to get the game under control, and you cannot even be bothered to catch the baseball. It is your job. I wanted him off the team weeks ago. I didn't even want him signed, but he needs to be off the team tomorrow. And he should be benched. It is an indictment on Shelton if he does not get benched for at least a series. Like, I'm sorry, like, he cannot keep playing for this team.
He got drilled in the head yesterday, right? He shouldn't have been in there. I mean, just that alone, he shouldn't have been. I mean, there was an excuse to sit him. The guy got just, hit with a bat, for crying out loud. And we're running him right back out there. And the guy can't be bothered to make a good throw back to the pitcher. He's certainly not going to put himself in harm's way, right? He's not going to, take a throw that may involve some contact or something like that. You saw how upset that Cruz looked. And should, because when Cruz makes a good throw, that is not always a guarantee. And the game was still, there was a possibility that we were still in the game at that point. And I mean, God, we've had so many guys like this over the past that you're way too young to remember some of them. But I mean, Jeremy Burnitz and Derek Bell and these guys that just were here to get the check, and we just kept running them out there. Kept playing. I mean,
it pisses me off that we have articles written about how O'Neal Cruz can't play baseball while he is giving everything for a terrible team, and Yasmani Grandal can just go out and do this and no one says a word about it. Letting runners steal home, letting runners score because you can't catch a ball, not being able to frame. You drop a easy pop fly that leads to runs being scored over the weekend. Like, he is up there with my least favorite Pirates I think I've ever seen play. And maybe that shows my age. Maybe that's recency bias, but
yeah, I'm an old guy, and I'm kind of with you because this is, something like if you have this, like I said, we had Derek Bell, and he was out in right field. You don't notice it as much when a catcher has checked out, right? You see it, you see it 4 or 5 times a game, right? I mean, he's too involved, too active in what's going on that you can't. And it's just, I mean, again, it gets right back to that roster construction. And again, we've had some bad luck with injuries at that position.
It just feels like I'm watching a different sport where people got more mad about Rodolfo Castro accidentally having a phone in his back pocket than a seasoned veteran, someone who's supposed to be a team leader, just completely phoning it in every single night.
Well, remember, I remember when we signed him, he was making speeches about how, again, you could tell he wasn't that into playing. He just wanted to mentor the 2, younger catchers sort of thing. And
what an influence.
Please, yes, Henry Davis, Jason DeLay, Joey Bart, pay no attention to what this guy's doing. Or just do the opposite. Don't do what he's doing.
And it just sucks because Henry Davis is out there. Henry Davis has been bad, but that Henry Davis is out there grinding every single day.
You don't doubt for a second that he's working his ass off, right? You don't doubt for a second.
He cares so much.
He cares too much, right? It's hurting. I think that's part of what's hurting him, right?
But I would go to war with guys like Henry Davis. I would. You're not winning anything with Yasmani Grandal. And I know it's probably been too long for. I know he knocked in a run. I know it was only one play, but I'm sick and tired of him.
Well, we're doing this show tomorrow, and
I
get the feeling you might. Yasmani Grandal will also be starting. The three of us are going to be right back here again for that. So.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks when you're pining for Jason DeLay, man. And I love Jason DeLay is so like, I really don't want to get on Jason DeLay because it's a fun success story. He was taxi squad, probably had no business being in the majors, and like he's made an actual career for himself, but. It's bad when you're pining for him, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's the perfect backup catcher, and we want him to start. I want him to start 6 days a week, and then on the Sunday, go the first 4 innings or something. So, I mean, it's just, it's terrible. It is terrible how much we need to see. We want to see Jason DeLay. And right, I mean, I want Henry Davis, who has been just dreadful, to come back. I would rather see Henry Davis just flailing away back there, but at least his intensity and his commitment and stuff may, intangibles may help, but
he can at least field a relay throw. He can at least throw the ball back to the pitcher. And I can't believe we're at this point, but thank you, Grandal. I think do I say it? I would rather see Josh Van Meter catch for this team. At least Josh Van Meter was trying his heart out. Josh Van Meter tried. That's more than I can say. Yasmani Grandal.
Right. Yeah. That's what he says. Look, we're mad at the wrong person. We should not be mad at Josh Van Meter. He's doing the best he can. He never embarrassed us by lack of effort. He just wasn't good enough. It wasn't his fault that he had to play that much. Hey, listen, the Josh Van Meter should be starting instead of Grandal is probably a good point to end the show.
Yeah.
Did you drop the mic there? I didn't see.
Well, no, just tired, man. But we don't get to give out sandwiches tonight. Maybe it's because we gave out so many over at the tailgate.
Well, we haven't mentioned, Jim Rosati this morning on Starbucks cleared up what the Rosati curse is. The team wins when he's watching them in Pittsburgh. It's when he's on the road. And I'm pretty sure he was at the game tonight in Cincinnati.
Yes, he was.
So we may be able to, point the finger at Yasmani Grandal and Jim Rosati.
I can live with that. We can blame Jim. Yeah, that's easy.
I'd rather see Jim. I'd rather see Jim in the 6th inning than
Jim. Can you sell your tickets now? You don't have to go tomorrow. Yeah. It's okay.
Don't go tomorrow.
But no, I think we've spoken enough about this game. Pirates lose 11-5. Doug and I will be back on here tomorrow night. Yeah. For hopefully a Pirates win. Baby. Hopefully we get to give away some sandwiches. But
Mitch Keller versus Hunter Green.
That'll be
Hunter
good.
Green is again. Jim pointed this out this morning on Starbucks. You should watch if you haven't. Hunter Green has never beat the Pirates. He's pitched well against them all the time, but has never beaten the Pirates. And Keller has always struggled against the Reds, but that was earlier in his career. I think he's ready to mow him down tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited. At least Mitch Keller gets a start, so we'll be here tomorrow. Hopefully it goes better than that. But thank you all for tuning in, and have a good night, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
And once again, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.